and welcome to Total Television. We're at the Next Gen 10 event where I'm talking to Tim Johnson, who's the Chief Analyst for Point Topic. Tim, you've just given a presentation here when you've actually, how can I put it, had a less positive view about rural broadband in the UK.
Well, I think there are a lot of people who are showing off projects here. They're very proud of what they've done, and they've done great things, but they tend to be on a pretty small scale. I mean, so somebody tells us how they've connected up 60 homes in a village in Lincolnshire, and it's a very enterprising, great thing. And I think there's not enough thought about the scalability of that, because there are 10 million people living in rural areas, more than 10 million in the UK as a whole. And, you know, how do you scale up from 60 houses to 10 million people? It's a huge task. And I think the great thing about this conference is that the elements are there. You know, the ideas are there, really interesting ideas coming out, people doing leading things and getting on with it, finding ways, for example, of getting... One of the benefits of rural broadband, for example, is you don't need to travel so much. You can work from home. You don't need to commute for long distances. So can we get people who have to build roads to contribute to the cost of rural broadband instead, so they don't have to build such big roads, and people can get broadband in their villages? It's that kind of idea which is coming out and which really needs to be pursued and scaled up in a big way, I think.
And I think today you unveiled a new Point Topic report where you've actually calculated broadband and the differential, the Broadband Infrastructure Index. Tell us how that works.
Well, this was quite interesting because Rob Sullivan, who was speaking for Broadband Delivery UK, said today that one of the problems is that local government is assessing its local resources and not yet assessing broadband. And actually we have a single number, if you like, which can be used to assess broadband, which is a way of looking at all the different broadband types of broadband which are available. You know, it might be, is it local loop unbundling? Is it the cable network? Is it next generation access? And seeing how many homes and businesses are passed by those things and taking the average of that and producing a single index. Or you could take the individual ones as well. I mean, you don't just have to take a single number, but if you wanted a single number which can say how good is the infrastructure in this area, I think this is a step in that direction.
And I think it was quite striking, if memory serves me, it was something like 25% score for rural and something like 67% for urban. Yes. What are the things that government needs to do to close that gap or to stop it getting even worse?
I think one thing it can do, and in a way the biggest, the most difficult thing, is to find ways of enabling communities to actually leverage all these other savings. So, for example, suppose a community wants to get broadband in their village, and they can show, well, this will reduce travel, so can we have some carbon credits, please? It's going to increase working from home, it's going to create more jobs, can we have some credits for social development and so on. You know, we don't really have the kind of structures which allow people to get the benefit of, or get the financial returns from the big, huge benefits that broadband can bring to the rural community. That's one thing. I mean, other things are dealing with the fibre tax, which is a huge anomaly. I think it's very unfair on the way it acts on the competitors to BT. BT have a pretty good deal, but the competitors often don't. Other things are all kinds of things which the government needs to do. Improving access to information, for example. Making BT and the other big service providers provide more information about what resources are available, where their networks are, where their points of presence are, what people can hook into. This kind of thing.
So, despite the warning, you've seen a few optimistic signs, have you, here this week?
Oh yes, I mean, I think the bits of the jigsaw are scattered around the floor, all over the place, and you know we're getting to the time where people need to start putting them together and make a picture.
Okay, Tim, thanks for talking to Total Television.
You're welcome. Yeah.